When you think of New Orleans, what comes to mind? The French Quarter, Bourbon Street, the Saints, the Sounds, Mardi Gras, Essence Festival, the food. So come along with us as we explore this magical city. And as they say, laissez les bon temps rouler. Hey!
We decided to stay at one of the newest hotels in New Orleans, Canopy by Hilton. No matter how many times you have been to New Orleans, it's always great to take the city tour.
And it's a ticket talking magic for the biggest. That's a comma and a comma and a comma. Gotta get it.
Have to make up names for your own streets. That's why if you look to the left, the name of that street over there is called Dauphine Street. But look what it's called on the American side. On the American side, it's called Baron. The next street coming up, on your left in the French Quarter, it's called Bourbon Street. But on the American side, that same street would be called Carondelet Street. All of these hotels, they were big-time department stores. This is where Macy's was. This is where Dillard's. This is where D.H. Holmes was. J.C. Penney's, Maison Blanche. All of the big department stores were on Canal Street. People would come from all over the state to shop on Canal Street. It was a big deal, ladies, to shop on Canal Street. Oh, when you would come into Canal Street, girls, that was curl time. Your mama would put them curls in your hair. You see that white building with the orange balcony?
Yeah.
Well, that is where Lee Harvey Oswald lived up until 6 months before he went on to Dallas to assassinate President John F. Kennedy.
Wow, I didn't know that.
That's right. Oswald was born and raised right here in New Orleans. Active above ground Catholic cemetery in the city. You see these brown tombs? Well, them guys been dead a long time. Grass growing out, it's almost time for their resurrection. The founders of the city are laid to rest there. That little white pyramid tomb right there belongs to Nicolas Cage. Y'all saw it? Yeah. Now Nicolas Cage is not in there. The only thing in there right now is Nicolas Cage's acting career. That's it. That's the Singer Theater. Canal Street was also a theatrical mecca. This is where all the theaters were. They had about 20 little small theaters. Now you see back then, everything was segregated. There were theaters for whites and there were theaters for blacks. The Lowe's and the Joy were black. I think the Singers were whites, and then they had the Orpheum. Well, all that started to change around the 70s. In 1975, when the Superdome was born, well, all these little theaters started to close. Nobody wanted to have their concerts at one of these little small theaters once the Superdome came into existence. But something I really want you to know about Canal Street is that it was a dividing line between the French and the Americans. The French had been here since 1718. They had their own culture here. They had their own money. They had their own language. They had their own food. Do you know everybody spoke French that lived here? If you came here and you didn't speak French, you were out of place. They were just having a good old time until 1803. Now what happened in 1803 to cause all these problems? Well, that's when the Louisiana Purchase was signed. On your left is Mother's Restaurant. Very popular, and that line is always small. The guys, look to your left. This cute little building, she is adorable, isn't she? Well, this is our New Orleans Superdome. This is where our football team, the New Orleans Saints, play all of their home games. The Superdome was built in 1975. It's sitting on 52 acres of land. The white roof on top takes up 12.5 acres by itself, making it the largest self-supporting fixed dome-like structure in the world. And by self-supporting, I mean there's no supports on the inside. All of the supports that's holding that building up is along the outside. Now the Superdome was a brainstorm of a governor we had. His name was John McKithen. John McKithen had went to the Astrodome 1 year for a football game. The Astrodome was brand new, and oh, he was impressed. He walked in the door. His eyes rolled back in his head. His mouth flew open. He said, "My God, I love this." He said, "Gosh, I gotta get one of these for New Orleans." So, my friends, it's the reason why we have the World War II Museum here in New Orleans. Yet people always say, how come y'all got the museum? Why not New York? Why not D.C.? Well, it's because of Andrew Higgins. He had a boat company here and they built that boat. Who want to go check that boat out? Alrighty, I got quite a few folks coming down to check this out. And guys, let me tell you this. They also have their own restaurant. If you get tired and hungry, you can visit the restaurant. Girl, it's a cute purse. If you don't have tip money, put that purse in the tip box. Well, thank you.
And it's a ticket talking Mazda for the biggest. That's a comma and a comma and a comma. Gotta get it.
And it's a ticket talking Mazda for the biggest. That's a comma and a comma and a comma. Gotta get it. I'm a comma and a comma and a comma. Gotta get it. Comma and a comma. Gotta get it. And it's a ticket talking Mazda for the biggest. That's a comma and a comma and a comma. Gotta get it. I'm a comma and a comma and a comma. Gotta get it. Comma and a comma. Gotta get it. And it's a ticket talking Mazda for the biggest. That's a comma and a comma and a comma. Gotta get it. I'm a comma and a comma and a comma.
After an amazing city tour, we made it to the airport lounge. Next stop is home.